The Defender Challenge. A 3-day grueling test of determination, skill, and teamwork. The best security forces personnel in the U.S. Air Force formed defender teams from 12 major commands, along with teams from the United Kingdom Royal Air Force and the German Air Force to showcase their competence and expertise. Each team must come together to prove their superior endurance and abilities in each event, while facing the harsh field and weather conditions in Camp Bullis, Texas. Which team will walk away with the top spot in the Defender Challenge 2018? The Defender Challenge is a long-standing tradition among the U.S. Air Force security forces, where they come together and compete against each other, build some camaraderie, embrace the competitiveness, and see who is the best in the career field.
Well, it's a competition, but it's not just a competition. It's an opportunity for the security forces around the world to come together and to showcase a skill in a competitive world.
The grueling competition is a way for the Air Force security forces to bring its members and the national partners to test and validate the strenuous training they endure.
It was basically a military skills competition consisting of marksmanship, fitness and tactics across 3 days, different challenges to see who was the sort of best security force or Air Force protection team.
The Defender's Challenge is considered a legacy, almost legendary in security forces, and has been in different forms a part of the career field for the past 37 years, since the headquarters of the Air Force Office of Security Police first held an international Defenders competition.
So it actually started as a simple weapons competition, and then basically somebody said, hey, why don't we add a little something extra to it, you know, a skills test or a physical fitness test, and then it just grew into this thing that we did every year.
So the Defender Challenge this year was kind of brought to light because we haven't done anything similar to this since 2004.
The Defender Challenge went into hiatus due to the operation tempo of world missions of the U.S. Air Force. During all this time, the Defenders never forgot this part of their legacy.
In security forces, the second we found out, like the career field found out that we were bringing back Defender Challenge, and everybody wanted to be involved in one way or another.
The response was overwhelming. 14 teams were formed. 12 MAJCOM gathered their best defenders. Despite coming from different units, installations, and geographical areas, the team members came together and began physical endurance and conditioning as they trained on military, protection and law enforcement skills, and tactics required throughout the career field.
Our team got put together about 12 days before the competition.
Our coaches put us through a lot of different training aspects and running, a lot of different PT.
We did a lot of shooting training, you know, practicing small target shooting, a lot of rucking, a lot of running.
Let's meet the 14 Defender Challenge teams. From the 12 MAJCOMs, we have the Air Combat Command Team, led by 2nd Lieutenant Christopher Hastings. The Air Education and Training Command Team, led by Captain Nathan Spradley. The Air Force District of Washington Team, led by Senior Master Sergeant Richard Holder. The Air Force Global Strike Command Team, led by 2nd Lieutenant Jonas Danicki. The Air Force Material Command Team, led by Master Sergeant Leif Gisselberg. The Air Force Reserve Command Team, led by Senior Master Sergeant Troy Mallett. The Air Force Space Command Team, led by Technical Sergeant St. John Hastley. The Air Force Special Operations Command Team, led by Staff Sergeant Daniel Willens. The Air Mobility Command Team, led by Staff Sergeant Zachary Everett. The Air National Guard Team, led by Master Sergeant Jeffrey Carter. The Air Forces in Europe Team, led by Master Sergeant Joseph McDowell. The Pacific Air Forces team, led by 2nd Lieutenant Chelsea Hipsk. And now, the 2 international teams. The German Air Forces, led by Lieutenant Paul Christoph Roblowski. And lastly, the defending champions, the United Kingdom Royal Air Force Regiment team, led by Flight Lieutenant Dominic Holton.
For the Defender Challenge, in the 3 days of the actual competition, they're going to be doing a lot of testing of their physical endurance. Let's just get that out of the way first.
The Defender Challenge 2018 is composed of 3 events: a dismounted operations event, a weapons challenge, and a combat endurance challenge. All 3 of these events were designed around physical and mental pressures defenders could encounter in their home station environment as well as their deployed locations. The defenders must demonstrate how they perform when facing duress.
Our events were designed, some of them were designed for speed, some of them were designed for critical thinking, and others, and all of them were designed with real-world applications and simulating real-world applications on how those airmen have to maneuver, have to move, have to shoot under stressful situations, how they have to run from one point to another, how they have to control their breathing so they can take the right shot, how they have to have the capacity and the capability to think about a situation so they can successfully accomplish the mission.
On the first 2 days, the 14 teams were split. Half of them enduring the Dismounted Ops competition, while the other 7 teams faced the weapons competition. The Dismounted Ops competition consisted of sprints, memorization stations, knowledge and search scenarios, valuable target protection, and IED identification.
Competitors can expect from the dismounted operations is to navigate through a course that's designed to test them both physically and mentally. It's a course that will push each team and their members to the limit. It's designed to exhaust them, make them think under pressure, and overall just kind of push them through areas that they train for, but not necessarily that they're prepared for.
On your marks, get set, go!
Who are we? AFMC!
Yeah, so that's an event that our team loved, Global Strike. That's the kind of stuff that those of us who have competed in the past, we've experienced events like that. We like those events where it gives us the room to improvise if we need to, and Dismounted Ops was the perfect event to showcase our skills that we practiced on and that we're good at.
Well, first I want to say that the entire thing was wet, muddy, and slick, so just keep that in mind.
This Bullis weather was not easy on us. The terrain was something we couldn't practice.
So teams are going to start off with a 400-meter sprint. From there, they'll go to a memory station.
So they showed us a bunch of items on a table. We each separated between the 4 of us, memorized our own pieces.
After that memory station, they'll have a time limit at each station, and after that one, they'll go to a challenge and search scenario.
I mean, the first portion of it, we were using just a standard map and compass to get from the different points. Eventually, we were given a dagger, but while we were going there were different locations we had to get to, and usually at that spot, there was some sort of skills challenge that we had to conduct.
Once you hit your point, you'd either encounter, a hostile with hostages, or you either had some kind of TCCC, aid, Medicare that you had to give.
We handled that situation, which was 2 terrorists capturing a couple hostages. After that, we had a very valuable target that we had to secure with us until the finish line.
From there, they'll hit a medical station. And we have medical personnel out there on place so they can observe their actions while they're out there.
There was a scenario where we had to determine ranges.
After that, they'll finish up that memorization station.
That way you had all those miles to forget them, or you're not supposed to, but that was their intentions there. And also there was an IED lane, just trying to pick out those IEDs that had been put in place.
Then we also had a defender's sprint. It was a lot of stuff that we spent training, which was nice, that we were prepared for it.
One portion we had to kind of go up this hill. That's probably the most challenging part, is like climbing that hill, because it was like a straight climb up.
We train a bit differently. We're all sort of a bit more tactically inclined than some of the units. The stands themselves are really good training. The dummy that he had for the casualty, with the blood and the injuries it had, never seen anything like that before. So yeah, but it was really good. It was a good experience, and it's something we can now take back and definitely apply some training to.
It makes you stay sharp. You're exhausted by those last 2 or 3 stations. Your heart rate's through the roof. It really forces you to kind of take that tactical pause, take a breath, and also rely on the people that are with you. If we didn't have so many amazing people on our team coming together, I don't know if we would have been able to pull it off as well as we did.
They came in with a training plan, with a plan of execution, and what they experienced is something that I don't think anybody can truly prepare for. It's something that they had to go through, and pushing through, everybody finished, nobody quit, even when they were even they're hurting to the point where they felt like they wanted to. You could see it in their eyes as they crossed that finish line that they weren't going to stop. So I think they did outstanding.
It was
Bring
fun.
me back in 2 years, baby.
Proud to be here with these guys today. I've waited my whole career for this moment.
As half of the teams ran through the Dismounted Operations event, the other 7 teams endured the Weapons Challenge, where defenders were individually tested in marksmanship tactics and skills, which included a dummy drag, weapons shooting, and movement techniques.
It's not just a shooting competition, it is going to be a combat weapons tactical competition. They're going to be utilizing their strengths, their memory, knowledge of different skills that they have been training on throughout their career field in regards to tactics, and they are going to be performing shooting at the same time under these stressors.
It was a lot of attention to detail, and that's what came in very important. You got to know, because if you shoot in the wrong position, none of those shots counted. And
weapons was very interesting. You don't really know how to prepare for a lot of this, and they're trying to throw you curveballs because they want to see. It's part of that that defender mentality.
We went one at a time. We couldn't watch our teammates compete.
It was a really good. We don't normally have ranges like that in the UK. It's either static or complete movement, moving down a range. So it was really good fun. Like, we really enjoyed it.
So we have 5 stages that they're going to be competing. The first stage is the dummy drag. It is a drag or carry of a 165-pound dummy.
We had to drag that very heavy man.
And then they had a Humvee with the tailgate down, and you had to put the dummy onto the Humvee.
So the next stage is going to be the shotgun stage, because it's a 3-gun shoot. So we have the shotgun, the rifle, and the pistol.
Right after that, put the shotgun down, moved to our first M4 firing station, took 5 shots there, moved to another sniper prone position with the M4. 4th station was a 9-hole with our M4. We ended up running out of ammo with our 4, had to transition to our 9mm, did 2 shooting stations there.
And then the final stage is our shoot, don't shoot scenario. We have identified certain targets that are friendlies, and their task is to not engage those targets.
If I had to say the most challenging part would be that dummy. 165 pounds, dead weight is a lot different than somebody that can kind of help you out.
Honestly, I'd say the hardest part was remembering certain maneuvers from point to point that was in the rules that you either knew it or you didn't.
We did pretty decent with hitting the targets. That's about all I want to say about that.
My career field has my heart, because at the end of the day, nobody quit. Everybody completed the challenges that were presented to them, regardless of time and regardless of mental defeat or physical defeat. And they walked off that last stage, head up and proud, exhausted, but they all did so well. It was really cool to see.
On the 3rd day, all the teams experienced the combat endurance event, consisting of sprints, exercises, weight drags, and marksmanship competence.
During the combat endurance, the competitors will experience, for the most part, being smoked, just physically drained.
Once we got there, that first initial sprint, we told each other there's no slow man, all right? So if someone's in front, catch up with that guy with everything out. We had nothing else to lose. It was the last day. Why not leave it all out on there? So we did.
We test them on strenuous situations come to shooting, because not everything is pull a firearm out off the side of your hip and shoot it while you're standing and not breathing heavy. There's a lot of situations you can be put into where you'll have to make a shot when you are physically drained and been tested.
And it's crazy how much you don't remember after the fact. Your blood's pumping into your ears and all you're thinking is push-ups, jerry cans, get to that berm, you don't remember the faces, or the grass is just a blur when you start thinking about it. It was intense. It was for how long it lasted, it felt a lot longer.
So essentially, it was a 400-meter sprint to a station.
And then there's the 4 different stations. There's the push-ups, ammo can, behind the head, and then there's the box jumps, and then there's the burpees. 25 reps for each exercise, but again, it's done one at a time.
And then they'll have to gather some weight in jerry cans and drag those or run those up to a firing berm.
40 pounds apiece, so that total of 80 pounds.
And go up there and make a single shot when they're exhausted to test to see how well they can shoot under stress.
Once a member had completed, they had to carry a jerry can to a point and then fire a single shot at a target at an unknown distance. And then the last target had 3 rounds hit inside what they call the brain box,
Once he shot, if he made the shot, he would leave the jerry cans there, then the next person would start. If he didn't, he would have to bring back the jerry cans, and then the next person would start.
It was short, sort of fast. We expected it to be a lot longer, a lot more endurance.
You don't think about your own performance at the time. You just think, all right, how much of my energy can I feed forward to the next person? You know, how encouraging can I be? You know, and that was a big deal for us.
We had some slip-ups, but we bounced back. It's that resiliency that keeps us together. With that final shot that I shot, and that I saw that pop go off, everyone started screaming. I knew it was over. I could finally breathe. That was my first breath in like 5 minutes.
Everyone did really, really well, but I think it was a learning thing too. And I think if we do something like this in the future, we'll see maybe some better shooting out of it, because these guys will have an idea that this is the kind of things we're looking at in the future.
All the hard work invested on the Defender Challenge has a significant impact to the Air Force and the security forces.
Our deployments are not as high, our ops tempo is a little bit lower in some respects, and I've actually been asked that question quite a bit. It's just like, is this a responsible use of our money and our time? And absolutely 100% yes it is, because we're not testing all of our skills all the time anymore. All our competitors performed absolutely admirably, but there were some things that they struggled at. Some of it was the physical endurance stuff, and that's fine. There's an easy way we can fix that. You know, it's called PT, right? But on top of that, we found that a lot of the long-range shooting was quite challenging for our guys, because very rarely in the Air Force do we actually get to utilize a known distance or long-distance range. So that tells me that maybe some of our training needs to be redirected and focused on those long-distance engagements.
I think it really prepares us, you know, say we get deployed or anything like that. It, you know, kind of shows you the shape that you need to be in, how you need to be able to move with your team.
It really takes a lot of the skills that you need and puts them together and forces you to have kind of the well-rounded airman type concept.
I think that the greatest impact that Defender Challenge would have to the Air Force as a whole, that it allows us to see those shortfalls and adjust our training of our airmen so we can develop a more lethal airman in the future.
Let's see how our teams fared during the challenge. The Air Mobility Command Team won the Sadler Cup, the award that is presented to the top team in the Dismounted Operations Challenge. Rounding out the competition in Dismounted Ops was the PACAF team, second, and the Air National Guard team, third. By winning the weapons competition, the PACAF team displayed the highest marksmanship skills of all teams and was presented with the Coleman Cup. The Air Combat Command team took second in the weapons competition, followed by the Air Force Space Command in third. During the grueling combat endurance event, the German Air Force came out on top, followed by the Air Combat Command Team, second, and the Air Mobility Command Team, third. On the overall competition, the Air Force Material Command Team won third place, and the Air Combat Command Team earned the second place. In the end, after having taken first place in the weapons competition and second on the Dismounted Ops competition, Team PACAF climbed to the champion spot of the Defender Challenge 2018.
I think the winners prepared just like every other team out there. They were the ones who navigated faster. It wasn't necessarily that they prepared more or even had edges over any other team. It's just that they wanted it more. They pushed through exhaustion to get to where they were, and that's three days of events. And I think that they just kept pushing through.
In the competition itself, I really wasn't thinking that. You know, I was thinking more of the overall awards. I was like, just put in your best effort, because it's going to contribute to the team. That's going to contribute to our overall. Like I said, just come out. Don't think about places. Don't think about that. Just think about not letting the people around you down, and just putting out your best effort. And if you come out on top, great. If you don't, you don't got to worry about it. You know, you put your best out there. So I'm glad I get to take him home. He's got a couple of top shot brothers and sisters, you know, on my desk back at Osan, so he'll have some company. But yeah, I'm excited about him. He was fun.
After 3 grueling days of mental tests, skills evaluations, and physical trials, the events of this Air Force Security Forces tradition comes to an end. The efforts shown by the competing teams, as well as the plan and execution team, are validated by the grand return of the Defender Challenge.
I am proud. I am proud to be security forces. I am proud of the Air Force, and I am proud that we did not quit, that everyone out there did their absolute best and can see in the end, maybe I need to improve in areas, but they killed it. They really did. I am proud of them.
I mean, I've pretty much said already, but it's been a really great experience. Again, one of the best I've had in my Air Force career so far. And then that, again, primarily due to my team. Great group of guys, learned a lot, had a great time with them. Hopefully be able to see them again, work with them in the future.
Well, I just want to say that I appreciate their hard work and effort. I appreciate that they came here, kicked butt, and made it a competition. As we had some events that were extremely close. Some results of a difference of about a minute, seconds.
I think I had a great team this year. I would really like it if, you know, our team could come back together. I don't know if that's going to be possible, but for sure I'd like to come back again and compete and get first. So
I think each competitor that came out to Defender Challenge 2018 did an outstanding job. Us as a planning and execution team, we were excited to see what the first Defender Challenge in 14 years could bring to these guys, and hopefully we surpassed their expectations.
Man, message for the cutter, y'all brought it. Oh my goodness. I mean, I know they can't plan for weather, but shoot, that 6 inches of mud throughout that dismounted op, good grief. That was evil genius.